So in the song From Time by Drake with Janae, he says that who the fuck wants to be 70 and alone? You don't even know what you want from love anymore. I search for something I'm missing and disappear when I'm bored. But girl, what qualities was I looking for before? Man, what was I looking for before? And, I get what I'm looking for and then I get bored. Especially when you're young, right? You're always searching for something. You're kind of searching for that missing piece in you, that person that's going to give you everything that you don't really have. And once you get it, you realize, is this really what I need? Is this really what I want in my life?
When you get to that point that you actually, something could come out of this. It can grow into a relationship. But then you start having those thoughts like, if I'm in a relationship, I can't do this. Or do I really want to give up my personal time for this person? Do I really want to put my all into this person? And that's where it sucks, because that's when you realize you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're just with this person because you're lonely and it's not real. And I think that's why people are scared to pursue an actual relationship, because they don't want all that time to go to waste, because it's a lot to be in a relationship. It's not just we're together, it's a title. It's like you're putting your all into somebody, you're putting your time. Like, time is so valuable. Like, we're on this earth for a limited amount of time. If I'm giving you a piece of my time, like, we're gonna make it worth it. If it's not worth it, then that's when I'm gonna have to say goodbye.
This is Sad Boy Radio.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got a very special guest. Like I said, they're all very special guests. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Mela-D. What's up? Excited to be here. Excited to talk. So it's an honor being here. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming through. So first of all, I know I never asked this question because it's like basic, but why Mela-D? Like, explain it to them.
Okay. I get this question actually a lot because, okay, so my family, they call me Mela. So, Mela. And then my middle name is Daniela. So, Mela-D, everyone talks about, like, in music, it's like, oh, Mela-D this, Mela-D that. So, I kind of, like, put it together. I don't even remember when I've done it, but it's been, like, since I was, like, in middle school, where I was like, okay, if I ever had, like, an artist name, it'd be Mela-D. So when I started recording, I was like, all right, perfect. I'm going to do it. Sometimes I was still iffy about it, though. I was like, is that, like, too cheesy, too corny? But I felt like it was, like, really me.
You're cheesy? You're corny?
No, I meant, like, melody. Like, yeah. I feel like one of my fortes, I think, is, like, coming up with melodies, like, on a track or something. So I feel like it fit, so.
I feel that, especially what?
No, I was going to say also what put me towards that direction of that name was, like, when I was younger, I really loved The Little Mermaid. So there's, like, a second movie where she had, like, a daughter, and she sang and stuff, and her name was Mela-D. And every time I was, like, a little girl, I'd be like, oh, my God, I'm Mela-D. So I don't know. I just always loved that name.
Right off the bat. Just growing up, you always pick that name, right? In middle school, you picked Mela-D. Most people don't really say, oh, I'm going to be an artist in middle school and follow through with it, right? Mm-hmm. So you've grown up a lot, and there's been a lot of stages, right? The church choir, auditioning for The Voice, mm-hmm. all these different paths that you've kind of taken, and they're all music related. Mm-hmm. So talk about those experiences and, what you've learned in each step of the way.
One of my first memories is, like, me putting a karaoke on YouTube and, like, singing it, and then, like, I didn't know my family was listening, but, like, when I finished, they all, like, started clapping for me, like, oh my God, you sing so good, so they started making me sing at family parties, at church. I started singing at church, and like you said, I tried out for The Voice in high school. I didn't make, like, the actual live tryouts, but, like, I passed the round, so that was like an affirmation for me. Yeah, so in middle school, that's when I had, like, the artist name, and I actually would write songs and stuff. Like, I'd find, like, beats on YouTube, and I'd just write songs, but never for anybody to, like, hear and stuff. Only, like, my close friends, like, I'd sing something to them, they'd be like, oh, that's, like, really good. But, yeah, so that's how I started, just doing my own songs. I had, like, a notebook full of it. I really like doing covers. I posted covers on, like, Facebook back then when I had Facebook, and on Instagram. Then I was like, okay, like, I want to put something into this. Like, I want to actually start making a song. So, like, I would, like, search up, like, how do I get to record a song, So at like 18, I like searched up like studios in Chicago, blah blah, blah. This was actually the first studio I ever like recorded in at Music Garage here.
Why you tell them our location? That's fucked up.
Okay, cut that out. Cut that out. Cut that out.
No, I'm
We're
playing.
an anonymous place right now. Sorry. One thing about me, I've never taken like a music class or anything, you know. So like everything I've learned is because like I put like work into it. I guess like YouTube. I read like books from the library, just like music books. I played trumpet before, and I like even would host or not host. I would go to sessions not to record, but like I'd be like, hey, I have Logic X Pro. Teach me how to like start a beat or something, or teach me how to do this, teach me how to do that. And yeah, so that's how I will learn. I just didn't know any other way around it. So I feel like I use my resources to like my not advantage, but I try to maximize what I learned from it like each time, you know? So I think that's how music was for me. Like I didn't really have like an actual background in music. I kind of just like
You went out of your way to teach yourself.
yeah, and I felt like that was kind of different because like I didn't know anybody like at the time like around my age that was like, oh, I have like this dream and I'm gonna work towards it.
Before we get into it, guys, well, like mainly into it, make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you check out her music, especially her new EP, Love Bomb.
Thank you. Yes, check that out.
So real quick, what I want to go through, right? I want to go through each stage that you've had, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell us, how did you grow as an artist and what did you learn from these experiences, right? Because the way that I think of each episode, right? When I go back on my episodes, I look and I can kind of put myself back into that time in my life, right? What I was feeling, what I was going through, and the exact things that were kind of like impacting me, but also how I grew from that experience.
So I was pretty young when my mom, she approached the church choir and she was like, how can my daughter sing with you guys, you know? So that was kind of like forced, but I guess it was my, like you said, my first experience really with music and working with other musicians and stuff. That was like actually my first time singing with people who are actually like playing instruments real time and like at mass too. Like I don't know, I guess what I learned, I mean, like I said, I was really young, but that was still like a foundation, like that was still a part of my foundation. Like that was a building block for sure.
I take so much interest in that because that's a foundation for a lot of artists, right? Chris Brown, XXX Tentacion, all these artists that you wouldn't really think like, damn, they started in the church, right? Sometimes I think about that. I'm like, damn, had my mom put me in church choir, maybe I would have made something, but it'd be like that. So next, The Voice. How did you grow as an artist and what did you learn from that experience?
Like I've said, like I sang in front, like at restaurants, family parties, but The Voice, like that was my first time auditioning for something for sure. So that's a different type of nerve, you know? There's like good nerves before you sing in front of a crowd because like you know that you can sing, you know? But when you audition for something, that's a whole different type of nerves. So, but honestly, even though I didn't make it, I feel like that was the biggest like affirmation I had that actually made me go towards that direction of wanting to make like music more. Because there's been points where I want to give up, but The Voice, like I thought not making it would like not destroy me, but like be like, oh fuck, like, you know, like I didn't make it, I didn't have what it takes. But so like the first round, it's a group of people, and then the whole group goes in and you sing in front of like judges. So when we're all practicing and stuff, a lot of people, there was like a dude there who like already made like 2 rounds before, 3 rounds, and like I sang, like everybody was taking turns. So when I sang, he was like, oh yeah, like you got what it takes, like you shouldn't even be nervous, like blah blah blah. So like when he said that to me, I was just like, oh shit, like the way he said it too was like, oh, like you got it, and I'm over here like freaking the fuck out and stuff. And so when I tried out and they said I made it, like they gave like a slip to the person once they left, I was like, oh shit, like that was like, that made me feel good as fuck. It made me feel like what I thought was true, you know? Because like sometimes when you really love doing something, obviously you're gonna be like your number one fan yourself, right? But like when someone else is like, oh yeah, your shit's good, like that just makes it real for you. I don't know. So that was like So I didn't make it, right? I got too nervous the next round. But like I said, I still was like, okay, cool. Like a lot of people that I didn't know that I met that day of saying I sing really good. Like that's what made me like want to keep going for sure. So that's what I learned out of there, how to control my nerves. I guess only pay attention to like good energy that you have around you, because obviously like especially like in music there is like a competitive vibe. So I feel like ignoring that and only really internalizing the good aspects of it like is a good way to drive yourself.
I would say it's more so a balance of the two, right? Because with that balance, you're able to use the negative as fuel. That's how I look at it, right? Because there's always going to be competitive energy no matter what you're doing. You know, even with podcasts, I feel like there's some sort of competition, right? Because say any other podcast in Chicago, I'm sure they're looking to have more views than me, more followers, more anything than me, even get more high profile interviews. But at the end of the day, it's really like, okay, I'm not going to let anybody hold that over me. I'm going to be the best me I can be and continue to grow the platform as much as I can. Yeah. But something you did say was that you kind of had that validation, right? You kind of had that validation and you felt that, okay, now that other people see that, that was kind of not enough for you, but in that moment it felt like it was enough, right?
Yeah.
How much does somebody's opinion really weigh on you?
I guess it depends who they are, you know? So, like, say it's someone who doesn't really know what it takes to, like, make a song or something, and they're, like, just hating, then I disregard those type of comments. But when it's, like, other artists, other creatives, I kind of, like you said earlier, take it kind of, like, as fuel. Obviously, like, I'm human. Sometimes I'm just like, they didn't like it. Fuck, why, you know? But then, like you said, like, it kind of fuels me. I'm like, all right, like, they don't like this. I'm just going to go harder next time. I'm just going to make a better song next time. Like, I can only grow from here, you know? So I feel like you said, it's good to have a balance. It's good to, like, be grateful for those who do support you. But then those that don't, it's kind of like, I'm still going to be doing me, you know? Like, I'm still going to, what's for me will be for me, and what's for you will be for you, and there's nothing we can change that about each other, you know?
Go ahead and talk about you and Castle, right? You guys have, like, a very special, unique relationship. I know who Castle is because of Sydney, so, you know, talk about that relationship and how you guys have grown together.
Yeah, shout out to Castle. It's my bestie.
Wait. Who is it on his tag? Is it Sydney or you?
Oh, no, it's Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not me. We've been friends for, like, over a year now. And honestly, he's one of the coolest people, like, I know for sure. Like, and it's not just me. It's like, have you ever met somebody that, like, they just have, like, good energy and it just attracts people to that they're like, because everybody I met says the same thing about him. Like, you will learn something each time you're with Castle. Like, you will get inspiration every time you're with Castle. It's just, I've never met anybody like him, to be honest, and I've never had a bond musically with anybody either. So it was cool that, like, with him, there's, like, so many moments where we just connect musically. We know exactly what we mean when we're tracking something, when he shows me a beat, and, like, you know. So yeah, our friendship is pretty good. I feel like even beyond music, like, he's a great person. Like, will listen to you. He's very caring. You know, regular Pisces vibes. But yeah, I mean, he's great. Like, he's showed me a lot of things in music that, like, I've never known before, like, which opened, like, so many creative doors in my head that I didn't, like, know I could open before. It's, like, crazy.
What are some of those things that you think he's unlocked?
Like I mentioned before, I never took in, like, a music class. Like, I've only been, like, in, like, a school choir, but I never, like, had singing lessons, none of that stuff, you know? So when it came to, like, terminology and music and stuff, he really, like, made sure I knew that shit, you know? So,
like, punch in?
Oh, I knew punch in, but, like, just, like, octave or, like when we do harmonies and stuff, like, now I know, like, which notes that would sound good with this note if I sing it. Like, that I didn't know before. Like, I knew what harmonies was, but I didn't know how to, like, make a nice ass sounding harmony, you know? He showed me that. He he's showing me how to play piano. Like, I've always tried to play piano on my own, like through YouTube and stuff, but he's really like showing me. And that's the thing, like, he does that for like everybody. Like, if you approach him and like you're like, yo, like, how do you do this, or like, do you know how to do this, like, he will gladly show you step by step how to do it. Like, he just loves music that much that he has like this whole vision that he wants to bring Chicago together, you know, because I don't know. I mean, I personally never been to like a different music scene, like at a different city, but like he has. So he sees like the differences between like the music scene and how like people are like in cliques in Chicago, but then you go to Atlanta and they're all working together, you know? So he's like, he really is trying to make that come to life, like just like building a community, you know, in Chicago. And I think he's like the one that's gonna do that, to be honest.
So many people say that shit, right, about Chicago. They're always saying that Chicago doesn't work together. Chicago people don't like each other, and I really disagree with that. Personally, I disagree with it because there's so many artists that I know that will go out of their way to go help someone else, right? Or they'll go out of their way to come onto the show. And to me, especially when they're bigger artists like a D-Lo, right? D-Lo didn't have to come onto this show and do it for free. Just come and show love. We had a fucking dope ass conversation, and it was so free flowing, and he was very open, and that's something that you don't see from a lot of artists, right? Yeah. So for me, Chicago artists, I think that they're very open to working with one another, and everybody has this idea, right? Everybody says that, oh, we want to unite Chicago, but at the same time, a lot of people say, oh, well, Chicago people don't like each other. So where's this idea coming from? You know what I'm saying? That Chicago people don't like each other, but everybody wants to work with each other. Make it make sense.
I'm not saying there isn't a community in Chicago already that supports one another. Like, I know a lot of artists that like support me and I support them, you know? It's like very natural because like I feel like if you want to see others win just as much as you want to win, like you're just going to attract those people that are supportive. But I feel like with anybody who's pursuing something, there's always going to be like haters. Always.
Hey, who be hating on you? I saw your post. Who be hating on you?
Oh God, let's not bring this up. I don't know. I just really dislike when I show support to somebody and there's like no response, but they're like the first one to watch your stuff and no support shown. So I'm just like, that's some weird energy. I don't know. I'm big on energy and stuff. I mean, it could be just like whatever, but I don't know, I take it personal, I guess. I'm like in this point in my life where I'm like healing and stuff. I just want peace, and whatever like I feel like I align with, like I'm gonna do it, you know? So the whole astrology and like the crystals, okay, just let me be, okay? If that makes me feel better, then shit, you know? Because a lot of people think it's like, I get it, I know, it's like a trend, whatever, girls like that, but shit, it makes sense to me, you know?
Who hurt you, bro? We're gonna get into that, so you don't gotta answer that just yet.
Fuck.
Before we get into that, though, I really did want to touch on, you know, you and Castle, right? Okay. Because obviously you guys complement each other so well. In what ways do you guys complement each other and also contrast one another?
When it comes to stuff like this that mean a lot to me, it's hard for me to put it into words because I don't want to, like, undermine how much it means, you know? But, I feel like we compliment each other a lot because we've been through some stuff, you know? So, like, when we're trying to make music, I don't want to be like it's always sad girl stuff, but you are always sad. Yeah, you know? Because, like, I feel like
all those tracks you sent me were sad boy as fuck.
It's okay. I mean, there's an audience for that. I mean, like, Jhené Aiko, like, a lot of her stuff is, like, stuff that people can connect to because of experiences. It's not... That's the thing with my music. I think about that a lot. I'm like, should I make a bop, you know, just like something everyone could vibe out to, or should I make something more personal where someone who's might be going through the same thing or went through the same thing could connect to, you know? Because like a lot of like what I loved growing up, it was more so like underground artists that had like something personal to it, you know? Like you can tell there was a story behind the song. So I don't know. It's like a balance I'm trying to get, but... What was the question again?
In what ways do you guys complement each other and contrast one another?
We complement each other so much because we basically have, like, identical music taste. Like, we love the same artists. We love the same type of music. So when it comes to making music, like we already know what we both like. So and it's like kind of the same thing. So yeah, and Castle, dude, he be making demos, he be singing too. So he be showing me like good ass melodies and stuff, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then sometimes, like he's showing me how to like, cause like before Castle, like I said, I would try to be on Logic X Pro, make my own beats and stuff, cause I didn't want to pay for beats. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my own, record myself. So Castle's like kind of showing me more of that. So nowadays I be throwing down the drums on the track or keys, you know. So it's like we just interconnect in a lot of aspects music wise.
Are there any ways that you guys do contrast then?
Ooh, so yeah, especially like lyric writing. That's where we do contrast sometimes, because sometimes I want to sound authentic. Like I wanted to sound as something I would say when I talk sometimes. And Castle is more like of what sonically sounds better, you know? So, I mean, like, there's always a balance to everything, right? But sometimes I'm just like, no, it should say this word instead of this, or it should be phrased like this, you know? But that's the only thing. Especially in the beginning, like, I would get mad at him because, like, he'd be like, no, sing it a different way. But now, like, I trust him way more. So when he's saying, like, nah, you should do it this way or hit this note instead, I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it, because, like, it always ends up sounding good. So, yeah, that's where we would bump heads a lot. Lyrics and how I would sing something. He'd be like, put more emotion. I'm like, I am putting emotion into it. So I'm just, like, trying to get what he's trying to say. So
I feel when you have a good working relationship with anybody, or you have a good relationship with anybody, right? You're going to have those ups and downs. It doesn't matter who the person is. But working through that is really what's most important, right? And especially when you're creating these memories with people, right? You're creating these important memories that are going to live with you forever. Eventually, you'll probably even write a song about it, because you're like, damn, like, we've been through so much together, right? You know how many outlines I've probably written? All these outlines are based on relationships and memories that I have with people that I probably don't have around anymore. People that I did have around, and they're just not as close to me anymore. You know what I'm saying? So those relationships, I think it's important to highlight those. And a lot of the times, yeah, like, just like you said, it gets lost in translation, right? Because you can never describe what somebody means to you. You can never describe a certain feeling that these people that kind of make you feel safe, in a sense, really truly mean to you.
yeah, exactly.
All right, so now we're gonna get really into it. You know, Castle had enough of the spotlight so far today. We found out he sings too. He doesn't just produce. But like we said, you guys are extra sad boy with each other all the fucking time, talking about some heartbreak shit. But it sounds like a lot of the times you're having internal conflicts with yourself, right? It's kind of, I want you here, but you fucked me over, so I'm gonna cut it out, right?
Yeah.
The song that immediately came to mind was Broken Promises. And how you say, our love is dead, don't call me no more. You know that we're not the same as before, but I don't really want to choose between the truth and keeping you. And really, this is the only part of the song where you're like, damn, I kind of want it still. Why do you feel like you were having this internal conflict?
So Broken Promises, it was actually one of the first songs I made with Castle, and it was like in May of 2021, so like a little over a year ago. So I was in a different space for sure. I guess, yeah, like you said, sometimes when you've gone through so much with somebody, it's hard to like let go completely right away. I mean, especially when you're like I'm a lover. Like now I feel like it's easier for me to cut off, but like before it was like harder for me. I just like felt like
You turned your emotions off. That's what you're saying right now.
yeah, like kind of like, but like it sucks because I'm not like that. Like for real, I'm not actually like a okay, you fuck up once, bye type of person. But it's like nowadays I'd rather do that than get hurt, you know, because like I already got hurt once and it was like really bad. So you kind of want to avoid that after you've been through something like that. So yeah, so sometimes it sucks because like when you're in a toxic relationship, it's not always bad times. Like there's good memories, there's good times. It's a lot of ups and downs, like more than you would want. But sometimes like yeah, the thoughts do come to you, especially when you're lonely and stuff. You're just like, damn, I do miss when we would go do this or go do that. But then you gotta like snap out of it and be like, oh no, like he did this, he lied. Then you're like, okay, nah, bad bitch, bad bitch. But like, yeah, so it's hard, you know. It's a part of moving on. Like, it's still a step forward, you know. So
The reason I specifically chose these lyrics, so is right because when the love dies, it's kind of like you want to salvage it, right? You want to continue to do everything you possibly can to say, damn, I didn't fail. I didn't fail at this. And sometimes it's more so of a you thing than it is of I need to fix this. Because when it comes down to it, it's like, here's my point of view, right? Because definitely had enough toxic relationships, but it's like I'm failing myself. I allowed myself to put so much time and effort into this, and I reflect on all the things that I didn't do because I put so much energy into this relationship. And that's why at this point I've put myself in a position where I'm not going to let somebody take over my life in the sense of I'm going to put what I love over them, right? Or like them over what I love. That's what I meant to say. Because there's how many people in the world? There's one you, and there's one thing that you really love to do. So why am I going to let somebody who says they love me and can fuck up any day destroy what I got going on, in a sense? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Why Broken Promises? Why that title?
Okay, so actually, there's not that much meaning into it because I always
You pick
cannot.
random titles?
Yeah, not random titles, but I have difficulty naming my songs. So I'm just like, all right, what's a word that's in the song? So baby, I don't break no promises. So I didn't want to put don't break no promises or I don't. So I was like, all right, Broken Promises. And it was crazy because like after I made the song, like one of my favorite artists, Summer Walker, like released her track list for her album that just like came out, and one of the songs was Broken Promises. So I was like, I'm gonna still keep it, whatever.
But why that lyric? I've been trying to put it together since you sent me the song, and I'm like, bro, why is she saying she doesn't break any promises?
You can be the perfect girlfriend. You can be the perfect partner. You're not jealous. You cook, you clean, you make them happy, whatever. But someone can still fuck you over, you know? So that's what I was saying. Like, I don't break no promises, you know? Like, I don't know. When I'm very into somebody, I give them my all. So, like, if I make a promise, I'm going to keep it. Like, if I say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, you know? So when someone else doesn't do that, it's like, like, how come me that I love you so much, I can, like, keep my promises? You claim you love me, but you can't? You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that I was thinking about in the song.
It's funny because I've talked about that shit. I've talked about it in the sense that, like, somebody can be perfect, just not perfect for me. Not the person for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking of the one specific situation, and you know, you've heard the song Yo Quisiera Amarla from Aventura, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so in the song, you know how he says, you know, you're the perfect girl, just not in my world. So I would always compare it to that situation because I'm like, you know, this person did do everything they could have possibly done. But sometimes you're just in a position, and I don't know what that guy was going through, right? But sometimes you're in that position, just like you said, where I can cut somebody off the next day just because I'm not in the space to actually accept that type of love.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, this theme of the album or the EP really does carry over where there's the internal conflict. You have old habits and keep you close, right? Where you share that theme, and it's kind of like once you're going through that, you keep hurting other people, right? Because it's like, I want you here, but I don't. Just like Keep You Close, right?
I wanted the songs to kind of reflect like how, like I mentioned earlier, a relationship could be like ups and downs. So like a lot of my songs, it does talk about like, you know, you make me feel good, or like we have like good times together. But then like when it's bad, it's like really bad, you know? So I guess I just want to highlight that, how like that's why it becomes so hard to like make a decision to like not be with someone or not, because there are good times that you want to hold on to, but then like you have to think logically, like think with your head instead of your heart, and just be like, no, like that's not what I deserve. This is not what I'm in for. Like, you know, like if I'm not doing this to you and you do it to me, like that shit sucks, you know, because you would just expect the same energy towards somebody that claims they like you too. And that's the thing, like you said, like not everybody, like you can be like the perfect dude, but I'm not feeling you. Like it's okay. I feel like vice versa too. Like if a guy doesn't like a girl, there's nothing wrong with her, you know. But I feel like communication would be good. I think that's where a lot of guys and girls fuck up. Like you gotta be honest with how you're feeling, because sometimes
you don't gotta be inclusive. Just so you know, if you feel a certain way, say that shit. You
no,
don't you don't gotta.
No, it's because I know it goes both ways. Like I've had guy friends that like girls will lead them on. I had guys lead me on, so it can go both ways. That's why I kind of want to highlight. I don't want to just say all guys.
The reason I bring these songs up, Keep You Close and Old Habits, right, is because, like I said, once you've been hurt one time, it's kind of like you build this wall up. You build this wall up that you're never going to get hurt again, and you're willing to hurt other people because you don't got to be the one that gets hurt. You don't got to be the one that has to deal with these issues. And it goes back to the Drake song, Take Care, right, where right away when they open up the song, they say, I know you've been hurt by someone else. I can tell by the way you carry yourself. And, man, that shit, it hits because every time you have these new experiences with love, everybody impacts you in a different way. Everybody hurts you in a different way. And you don't always see it right away. People see it in you before you see it in yourself. And that healing process, a lot of the times, at least for guys, right, it's, fuck it, I don't care. I'm going to go get lit, cry about it later, be sad about it later. And that's what I mean by you don't see it. You always feel like, oh, I'm okay, until one day it's just, no, I need to do better, right? So how has your perception of love changed over time?
Before, I had high expectations for love, for sure. Even like after I had a really long relationship, I still had those expectations. Like I said, I'm a big lover, but I feel like I just let people let me down more than hurt me. I feel like because I don't have those expectations anymore. I kind of like lowered them.
So then where does your perception stand now?
Now I have lower expectations. I don't.
But why? Why would you change your expectations just because somebody's not meeting them?
Because I'd rather not get hurt. And also I'm big on like energy, so if you seem like you have good intentions, I am the type to give you a chance, you know, and still hold those expectations, I guess. But if I see you're like a player and stuff, that's where I kind of just don't feed into it anymore. I don't let myself get hurt. I'm let down, yeah, because obviously, like, when you like someone, you want things to work out, you want things to go your way, but if they don't, then kind of have to take it with a grain of salt now. Especially nowadays, how the dating seems like, it doesn't seem genuine anymore. It's more like just to not be lonely anymore, which is why it don't work out, because it's for the wrong reasons.
So in the song From Time by Drake with Janae, he says that who the fuck wants to be 70 and alone? You don't even know what you want from love anymore. I search for something I'm missing and disappear when I'm bored. But girl, what qualities was I looking for before? And man, that shit hit. I was listening to that song today. I listened to that specific lyric today. And that shit was real. It was, man, what was I looking for before? And, you know, I get what I'm looking for and then I get bored. Especially when you're young, right? You're always searching for something. You're kind of searching for that missing piece in you, that person that's going to give you everything that you don't really have. And once you get it, you realize, is this really what I need? Is this really what I want in my life? And then how do you tell that person that this isn't what I want? You'd spent all this time chasing them. You finally got it. And it's like, yeah, I'm good. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me no more. And just like you said, people don't want to be alone. It's who the fuck wants to be 70 and alone? And to us, you know, when you're so young, it feels like time's going so fast that the end of the world can come at any day, can come at any time. But you also have that feeling of, damn, I'm young. I can't just settle down right now because what else can I do what am I gonna be stopped from doing because of this?
It sucks when you think you want somebody and then you get to that point where you have them and then you realize you're contemplating if this is what you really want or not because of like past experiences. I have times where I go after somebody. It's all good. There's no bad signs, red flags.
You're a red flag.
I'm the red flag.
Yeah, you're the red flag.
Yeah. It's Six Flags over here. When you get to that point that you actually, something could come out of this. It can grow into a relationship. But then you start having those thoughts like, if I'm in a relationship, I can't do this. Or do I really want to give up my personal time for this person? Do I really want to put my all into this person? And that's where it sucks, because that's when you realize you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're just with this person because you're lonely and it's not real. And I think that's why people are scared to pursue an actual relationship, because they don't want all that time to go to waste. Because it's a lot to be in a relationship. It's not just we're together, it's a title. It's like you're putting your all into somebody, you're putting your time. Like, time is so valuable. Like, we're on this earth for a limited amount of time. If I'm giving you a piece of my time, like, we're gonna make it worth it. If it's not worth it, then that's when I'm gonna have to say goodbye, you know? So it's hard to differentiate when it's a time to be like, okay, I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna try to grow this into something. I'm gonna, put effort into it. Then to be wrong, that's where it's hard.
What experience was it that caused you to just, build that wall, like I said?
I was in a very, very, very toxic relationship for about like 4 years, maybe 5. And yeah, it was really hard to get out of it. So once you're out of that space, you take a step back, you reflect, and then you're like, wow, that shit was fucked up. I should have never allowed someone to do this to me. I should have never let someone doubt what my intuition was thinking, You always gotta believe what you think, because if your gut's feeling some type of way, you gotta put that into consideration, So coming out of that relationship, that's when I had a different look on love. So I just worked my way around that, have different expectations. And then I learned how to be on my own. I feel like that's one thing people don't do. Once they leave a very toxic relationship, right away I feel like people want to go looking for someone else just to fill that void. But you really got to sit back with yourself. You really got to know what you like, know how you are when you're alone, because when you're with somebody, a lot of the things that they do, you start doing it too, and you're influenced easily by what this other person's doing. So when you know yourself, know what you like, know how you are when you get this way, you know how you are when you're at your lowest, at your highest, it's easier to find somebody and not be so rose-colored, glasses with them. You are more aware of those signs and those red flags. So that's what helped me. I mean, if it wasn't for that relationship, I probably would still be getting fucked over time after time. There's a point where someone's like, yeah, that's it. I can't allow no more.
So for you, how do you feel like this impacted your development as a person and how you view life?
I feel like you can never put something past someone. That's my thing. It sucks that I have to live that way, where I have to have my guard up. But like I said, we're all on this earth for a limited time. So you do what you want to do, So if you feel like this person you're not going to be able to deal with them in the long run, what's the point in continuing it, So I think that's the thing. Life is just too short. Do what makes you happy. Be around the people that bring you happiness, support you. Cut out anything that gets in the way of that, basically. Before, it was so hard for me to put myself first and be like, no, I don't deserve this anymore. So now I know when to put an end to things. I know my limits when it comes to love, I guess.
The lyric that immediately came to mind was Beware from Big Sean. It was I don't know the one before it, but it's not the problems that he got to deal with.
I gotta hear that. that lyric again.
So the lyric was, how I'm supposed to get past you, and she called the next guy spilling some real shit. Now they promise that he got to deal with. So, and it's also, you know, Drake, where he says, what the fuck was it? Dealing with a heart that I didn't break.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that shit, and that's what I really thought of when it came to this, right? Is, yeah, you were heartbroken. It sounds like bad, for real. But once you get past that, it's really, okay, how's the next person going to handle that? How does the next person have to deal with it? Society views heartbreak as like a very bad thing, right? And I see why, but I also don't see why. Because when you get your heart broken, when you go through any type of tragedy, you're able to break yourself down and build yourself back up. You're able to take away those qualities that kind of fucked you over in a sense and change it to be, okay, how do I become a better person? How do I become somebody that can still be the same me without having to completely change who I am? And I think back to this conversation I had with this one girl where, you know, some shit happened with her relationship, and I was like, okay, so then how are you still so open to the idea of love? How are you still so open to all these things that you want in your life after somebody did you like that? And she's like, well, I'm not going to change the things I like about myself just because somebody broke my trust. You know what I'm saying? So when she told me that shit literally completely changed the way I was thinking and going about things, right? Because, like I said, I definitely had my heart broken. I definitely was in a place where I was selfish. I was doing things for me, and I changed how I loved people, right? Before, I was always this type of person that would do anything I could for the person that I loved. I would go above and beyond and just give my all, and at some point I kind of lost that in myself, where I wasn't doing that. I was just being this person that I'm like, okay, fuck them. I'm going to do me. I'm going to focus on me, and everybody else can come second.
I feel like I'm in that stage right now where I put myself first and I'm not really spreading love how I should be, because I wasn't like that before. I was pretty open to sharing love and not expect anything in return, I guess. But now I feel like I am preserving myself more. Like, that's how I see it. I'm preserving my happiness. I'm not letting anybody, anything get in the way with that, because are they the ones paying my bills? Are they the one there when I'm super sad or crying? No. So that's kind of why I put myself first. And I feel like everyone should do that. So if everyone's just doing what they feel like it's best for themselves, then you shouldn't be worried about what the other person's doing. I don't know if that answers the question. But it's hard to navigate that for sure. When to give love, when is it worth it to risk giving your love out, giving your time, your happiness.
And just navigating that with all the other things that you're doing, right? Obviously, you know, you got your family, you got a whole lot of other things that you got to take care of first. So for you, how do you really decide that?
It's hard, especially nowadays with like the pandemic and stuff. People are more isolated. So I feel like I really isolated myself as well and focused more on what's closer to me, which is family, my job, career, school. And that just leaves the rest of that time outside of that is very small. So it's either I use that time left I have remaining for myself or with people I love. So it's hard for, I don't know. I know some people that can have like 5 friends and keep up with them. You know, they're good friends. But for me, I feel like to be a good friend, I can only have like 2 friends, 3 friends. Because I don't have that much time, you know. And it's not that I don't want to make more friends. It's just that if I do make friends, I'm not going to be a good friend because I don't have enough time to show how much I care for them, hang out with them, you know. So it's hard. It's hard in that aspect, I guess.
So the last thing I really do want to ask you, right, because we talked about your album being, or EP, fuck, my bad. Because we talked about your EP being really with that internal conflict, right? That internal conflict of I want to love you, but I really can't. And Love Bomb, obviously people say that, oh, that person's love bombing you because they give you so much love and then they just take it away.
Yeah.
What was the real meaning behind it?
Behind the EP or behind the song Love Bomb?
Both.
I feel like when I love pretty hard. There's always, especially in a toxic relationship, there's an extreme end to bad times and good times. And then when it all gets really bad at the end, it's kind of like bound to explode. Kind of like Taurus type of thing. When I was thinking of the title, I wasn't really thinking of the actual term love bombing, like giving all your love and then taking it away. But I was thinking more like shit can go down when you love somebody. Like you let shit go to an extreme when you love somebody. So that's kind of like my thing. That's what love bomb was to me, like ups and downs, and then when it clashes, it's bad, but it has to happen for you to get to the other side of that situation. So cuz any relationship you get into, you're going to learn something from that. You're going to learn what your limits are to someone lying to you, how you forgive somebody. You learn a lot about that. So when there's a lot of ups and downs in a relationship, it's bound to hit some type of wall. You know what I mean? And that is either gonna tell you you're gonna stay with this person or you're just gonna move on. So I think that's what I was thinking about, especially in the song Love Bomb. When I say everything comes to the light eventually, you can give your all to somebody, but they might be doing some shit behind your back. But if you're gonna keep doing that, it's all gonna explode in the end. It's all gonna come out, and it's not gonna look pretty. So love isn't always pretty, you know?
That's the one thing that I can say is, like, another beautiful thing about it is that it's not perfect. And that's what I tell people a lot of the times about myself, is that I'm not perfect and I don't want to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because perfect things don't really exist. And this idea that you're chasing something to be perfect, you're like, it's never going to be that. It's never going to be easy. It's never going to be, oh, this is what it is. And things are never going to be perfect. That's how I view it. It's like the idea of love being perfect and just there's never any issues. There's never any bad to it. That's not real. And when people want you to be perfect, right, that's never going to happen because humans are flawed. And that's kind of what makes people's stories and their background so amazing, right? It's how they were formed, how their thoughts were shaped, and what really made them the person that they are today. And I mention that because for you to love somebody, you got to accept their imperfections. Two imperfect people are never going to make a perfect situation. So how can people come up with this idea that, oh, love is supposed to be perfect?
Or they're trying to achieve a perfect picture of love, what they think is perfect to them.
What's your perfect picture?
My perfect picture is finding someone that you're like you said, accepting their flaws, but also who you want to grow with. Because especially at our age, we're pretty young, so we haven't found ourselves fully. So if you find somebody that is willing to grow with you, learn things with you, go through these phases of life, then that's how it's held down, you know? So, because if you're always thinking, because, like, we're all humans. Like, we all have our flaws. We all have our secrets, our little habits, bad habits. If you find somebody that accepts that, that's all you really need. Everything else follows that. You gotta accept who you're with, you know? You can't just be with them and not like what they do.
Just not cheating, right? Because that was a main theme. That was a main theme.
Yes, that's definitely a main theme. I hate cheaters with a fucking passion because we are grown. We can put our needs, we can separate our needs and our wants, and we can vocalize what we want to the person we're with out of respect for them. I would expect, you know, but people are just so, I don't know, just so in the moment that they don't think of someone else. That's how you know it's not true love. Because if you really love someone, you won't even have a thought of, ooh, I'm gonna go with this girl or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not true love. Why are you wasting this person's time? Why are you wasting their time? You can't get time back. You can tell, like, I don't know. I guess people just don't have the balls to tell somebody, hey, like, I'm not feeling you as much as before. I want to see other people, you know, that can go a long way. It might suck. Like, don't get me wrong. The other person might feel shitty, but I guarantee you they would rather know than to continue on thinking everything's perfect and then find out by, like, somebody else or catch you off guard. That's going to suck even more. That's more wasted time. That's more built up emotions for that person just to be shot right in the heart, you know what I mean?
Were all these songs about the same person?
Nah, it wasn't. Keep You Close and yeah, I would say Keep You Close and Old Habits were made last year. So in that time in my life, I wasn't directly like, oh, I'm writing about this one person, but my experience came into play when I'm lyric writing. So obviously I wanted to surround a theme, and what I experience is gonna be shown in my art, you know? Yeah. Because I wouldn't really sing about stuff I haven't been through, you know? I wouldn't sing about me, like, for example, like, I wouldn't sing about, like, me growing up in the hood or something because I wasn't, you know? I'm going to sing about something I went through. I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be genuine. And whoever connects with that, they probably went through the same thing. So it's kind of like therapy.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you discussing your EP with us, even though we paused a lot.
A lot.
Like a lot.
Like a lot.
That's going to be all, guys. Thank you for watching today. Make sure you go ahead, stream our new EP, Love Bomb. It's on Apple Music, Spotify, everything. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.
This is Sad Boy Radio.